My loves, oh my goodness, I could not wait to come back on here and talk to you guys. I got so much to talk about. It's going to be the Jamaica tell-all. So if you haven't already, grab your mugs because I've got the tea. And it is crazy. If you want to hear about how I was threatened to be the Jamaican police be called on me, I slept in a lobby one night and I had to pay an extra $700 to fly back home early, I will get into the details of why all this transpired in this video. If you are new to my channel, welcome. It is Chrissy G, and if you are back, welcome back, my loves. I absolutely missed you guys so much. I recently uploaded a short video letting you guys know that Jamaica did not end up being the exciting girls trip that I thought it was going to be. And it's important that you guys watch this because I know so many of you guys are transforming right now. Some of us are no longer the fat, lazy caterpillar eating on leaves all day. We have become butterflies and we have blossomed and we are spreading our wings and we are flying, flappy wings and all. We are taking flight, and some people cannot handle that. Some people will not like it. They want us to be the sluggish caterpillars and can't accept that we want to fly and explore the world now. So many of you have been following my story from the beginning, and if you haven't, then you probably, this is your first time watching one of my videos, you probably feel like, girl, you look like you got it together, you look like you're confident, I'm not. I am, but I'm not. I wasn't. I am now. I didn't used to be. So long story short, I will give you guys a quick history, okay? I grew up very, very shy. I was always the chubby kid in class. I have horrible dark circles, which is why I wear so much makeup sometimes. I'm getting better. I don't wear it as much as often. I go light most days, but some of you know my struggles with that. I was made fun of a lot growing up. I was the girl who never had boyfriends in high school. I was the girl in the shadows of my beautiful mom, of my beautiful best friend, old best friend. So I know what it feels like to be the ugly fat girl that lives in everyone else's shadow. And I know what it felt like not to have the attention for a very long time, okay? I'm the girl that walked into the dressing room with 10, 12 different outfits and literally would walk out with a top or just a bottom. And my husband would be like, you took like 12 pieces of clothes in there. You were in there for like 45 minutes. That's all you're taking? Yes, because everything looks horrible on me. I am that girl, okay? I lived that life for many, many years, for 30 some odd years, okay? It wasn't until recently that I had all my plastic surgery done. And honestly, up until I lost these last 60 pounds, that got me down to 180, which I'm still fat, according to many people. Up until recently, like, I struggled, okay, with my body image. And I know what it is to be that girl, okay? I lived it for a long time, and it may not look like it now, and this is what's sad, and this is what I'm going to get to today, okay? So, let's start from the beginning, okay? And mind you, that the person I went on the trip with, we've known each other for almost 9 years now, I want to say, and we were attached at the hip for a while, especially pre-COVID. So she was a mentor to me. She's someone that I've always looked up to. She's someone that I always told people I adored because she taught me a lot of what I've learned. She is the reason why I am in human resources today. She taught me a lot of what I know, and so I've always been very appreciative of that, and I've always given her the credit for it. Every time that I introduce her to anyone, I'd be like, this is the girl I was talking about. Like, she's the one that introduced me to HR. She's the one that mentored me. Like, I've always held her at a very high standard. I was always very proud that she was a single mother who had successfully put her children through college on her own. And so I've always been very clear about that. Like, you know, she was just always a great friend to me. I felt like she was a great friend to me. She met me when I was at my heaviest. We've both always been 200 plus pounds together, so we always had that in common. it was never, it just, to me, it was normal, right? I didn't ever think anything of it. And then she met someone, you know, it kind of felt like high school where you lose your friend to her boyfriend, right? And she kind of went away for a couple of years during COVID. They got very close, and then I got dropped like a bad habit. And I get it, right? We're all married. We all have kids, whatever. So then out of the blue, she calls me one day or texts me and like, you want to go to Jamaica? And you guys know that that's one of my things. Like, I've been wanting to travel, and this year my travel plans kept getting canceled because of my daughter's graduation, her prom, so on and so forth. So I jumped at the opportunity, and let me tell you that multiple people that are in my life now were like, well, that's kind of weird. You guys haven't talked in like 2 or 3 years, and now out of the blue, y'all are going on a trip together all the way to Jamaica. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, it's cool. Like, I've been wanting to travel. Like, she was awesome. Like, we're good. Like, I'm not that type of person. Like, I pick up where we left off. If you guys have been my friends for many years, we all get busy, and then, but you know, my really good friends, we can all just pick up where we leave off, right? And so I didn't think anything of it. She hasn't been around since I lost all the weight. She saw me go through my tummy tuck the first time, and I was still heavy, right? Because I was still 200 plus pounds even after my tummy tuck. So she hasn't been around since I started my social media platform. She hasn't been around since I lost all the weight and all that good stuff. Okay, getting to the point, guys. Promise you. Stay with me. I might end up having to do this as a part 2 or like a 2-part video because it's a long story. So fast forward to, we're meeting at the airport. So I'm waiting for her at the airport. I'm super excited. We've been texting back and forth like, oh my God, we're like kids. We can't sleep. Like, we're so excited. You guys know, my husband knows, my family knows that I was ready to go to this trip because I'm sociable, but I'm not the type to approach people and start a conversation. And I always admire people who can do that. Like, when we're on trips and people approach us and they're like, oh, where are you guys from? And, you know, just start talking. I love those kind of people because I can't do that. And I love to learn from them. And I always feel like, I wish I had that. Like, I wish that I could just spark up a conversation with a total stranger, but I'm not. I'm actually really shy, and that's why people don't believe that about me. If you approach me, I will talk to you all day long. But if you don't, like, I won't, just because, I don't know, the fear of rejection. I was the ugly girl all my life. People didn't want to talk to me. People didn't want to approach me. People didn't want to open my door when they saw me coming, okay? I was the ugly fat girl. Like, no one cared I was in a room, okay? So, all this is going to lead up to what transpired, you guys, I promise. We're in the airport, and literally 5 minutes in the airport, some lady in front of us turns around and she's like, oh my God, I love your shorts. And I got these shorts at Ross or TJ Maxx for $10, and I get complimented every single time I wear them out. I'm already wearing holes into them. I wear them so much. I don't wear them a lot, but you know, the thigh rub, wearing them out really quickly. So the lady's like telling me how cute my shorts are and how her daughter would love them and where did I find them, and you know, so on and so forth. Okay, 15 minutes later, people look, right? And I get a lot of women, it's mostly women, like I get looks from women all the time, especially like they're the ones to compliment me most times. Men will look, but they won't say anything. 9 times out of 10, a man will not say anything. They may look and gawk and whatever, but they keep it moving. And obviously I'm not going to be like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, I just keep it going. Like, I pretend I don't see because I still have that fat girl shy mindset, and I just like glance away and like awkwardly walk away, right? So now we're in the United Lounge or whatever, and literally the guy that's sitting at the desk is gay, and he sees me and he's like, girl, like, your makeup, yes, it's flawless, you know, whatever. And I'm like, thank you. Like, it always means so much to me when a gay guy tells me my makeup is pretty, because gay guys know their makeup, and so like it makes me feel good that they think I have pretty makeup on. Okay, so there's already, I mean, within the first 30 minutes. Oh, and then we got stopped by like the clear people, and they were like, do you guys want to like skip the line? And the guy pulled me and he was like, bring your friend and y'all can skip the line. And so like we're getting all this extra attention that I feel like we wouldn't typically get, or I know I wouldn't typically get when I was a much heavier weight. Okay, did that, got through security really fast. Then we walk to the, you know, before we load the plane. I'm over here, my dumbass is so naive that Like, I'm over here bragging to her about things that I've never experienced. This is the first time that I get on a plane weighing under 200 pounds. 183 to be exact, okay? And I didn't feel like a ping pong walking through the airplane aisle. Like, I'm no longer like bumping every time I take a step. I'm bumping each side as I walk in, or I'm bumping into people's arms, or I hated getting on an airplane. Then I hated sitting in the seat because they're so tiny that I never fit comfortably in an airplane seat when I was weighing 240, 250. I was weighing almost 270 when I flew to Cabo's, I don't know, 7 years ago. So I know how uncomfortable it feels to walk as a heavy person through those aisles. And to be able to walk, you guys, through the airplane aisle and absolutely not have to, like, you know, I like literally just walked straight through. I was able to cross my leg, and I will put that picture here, you guys, because I took a picture because I was so proud of myself, and I was like, oh my God, you can actually see a gap in the chair, and I could cross my legs. Like, my legs aren't so fat that I can't, like, just barely squeeze into my little seat and stay sitting there the entire time. So I'm, like, naively like, oh my God, girl, look, there's a gap in my seat. Like, this is so cool. And she's just like, okay, not understanding your excitement right now, but okay. And so, of course, she sat on that side. There was an aisle between us, and I sat here, and it was a full flight, and apparently this person that purchased the seat in the middle of me and this stranger didn't show up. So we had, like, an empty seat in the middle, which was awesome. And so I made friends with the girl sitting next to me, and we were talking, and that was my first, like, starting a conversation with her, because she was kind of being really quiet and kind of leaning towards the window. And then I just sparked up a conversation with her, and she's telling me how she was going to meet all her girlfriends in Jamaica. Anyways, I thought that was so cool. Like, I did it. Like, it was my first person that, you know, I approached her because she seemed nice and like she would talk to me, and so we talked. Okay. Fast forward to getting to Jamaica. You know, it's hectic when you get there. You go through customs, and that's like always a headache because you don't know what's going to happen. We get through customs. As soon as we hit the Sandals lobby, they're ready for us. Literally, all I got to do was go use the restroom, and they were like, okay, your shuttle's fixing to be ready. We walked to our shuttle, and the very first guy, which I read so many videos or watched so many videos about how Jamaican men are very, like, aggressive and, like, will catcall and whatnot. So I was ready for that. My husband even warned me about it. He's like, they say just be polite and keep it moving. Like, don't, you know, don't play into it, whatever. I was, you know, we got this. So the very first guy that approaches me on the way into the bus, and he was like, hey, where are you girls going? What hotel are you staying at? What's your name? You know, I think he said his name was Hakeem. I can't even remember. And so I'm like, okay. And I get in the bus, and I'm like, girl, they weren't lying when they said these men, like, you know, are quick at it. Like, just got here, and, you know, it's beginning. Okay, again, my dumbass, right? Like, naiveness of me, like, trying to just talk about it, whatever. We have the longest. We waited there at the airport literally, like, I don't know, 45 minutes in the bus because there was some lost guests that were supposed to be escorted also to Sandals. There was 2 Sandals, right? Dunn's River and ours, which was Ochi. And so we're sitting there waiting for these other couples who were taking their sweet ass time to get there, whatever. At this point, like, I don't care. Nothing is bothering me because I'm like, I'm finally in Jamaica, and like, I don't care. Like, I have nowhere to be except the hotel. I am kind of hungry, but like, you know, I'm not letting these things bother me. So the couples finally get in. I kid you guys not. It was Independence Day weekend in Jamaica, which I had no idea. Their independence was that Sunday, and we're here that Friday, right? So the traffic is ridiculous. There's a one-way street all through, like, the side of Jamaica to get to Kingston, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, Dunn's. Like, all that is connected by a one-way street. So it was bumper to bumper. It took us, a 2-hour drive took us 4 hours. So the entire time, the couple that was late to get on the bus is being so obnoxious. Not the husband, but the wife. And she's just like, what is going on? What is the problem? And I'm like, girl, can't you see it's like bumper to bumper traffic? He said it's Jamaica's Independence Day. Like, there's nothing to do. Like, why are you complaining? You're in Jamaica. Just like, take a chill pill. So the entire time we're kind of laughing about that because she's being so dramatic in the back, and we're just like, girl, you were the one that was late like 45 minutes to get on this bus. We would have been there by now if it hadn't been for you. But you know, we're like, whatever. I'm like constant taking pictures of their landscape, of like the homes there, because they have beautiful architectural homes. Like, I'm just enjoying every minute. We get off at one of the, we get a bus stop in the rest stop in the middle of the trip, you know, to go to the restroom or whatnot. We get back on the bus. We finally make it to the hotel, you guys. It's so late. We were under the impression we were going to be on the side where the beach was at, where the water was at. We were not. We were on the couple side, because everybody said that the side where we were at was like the butler side. So it was more of like the honeymoon couples type side, not the beach side, which was supposed to be like where more entertainment was at, although most of the restaurants were at. So of course, genuinely, I get there and I'm like, oh man, we're not on the beach side? Like, I thought that's where we were. And they're like, no, you're going to be on the other side. I'm like, oh, that kind of stinks. Like, I would have loved to have been on the beach side so you can access the beach quickly, whatever. So I was like, whatever. I was like, I'm starving. Let's go eat dinner and then we'll figure out if we need to change rooms. So we literally get to the hotel and go straight to go find somewhere to eat. We sit down to eat. Fine. It was a good conversation. Like, everything is cool. Then we go to the front desk and we're like, hey, you know, be honest. Where's the party at? Like, where's the funner side? Is it this side or that side? And the guy's like, well, he's like, I think this is the funner side. This is where the speakeasy is at. This is where, like, the main entertainment at the bar is at. He's like, the other side is just where most of the restaurants at, and obviously the beach access. And so we go walk, and we're like, well, let's go walk. Let's go see what's going on that side. Nothing, like, it seemed so weird to us that there was absolutely no action going on in the swimming pools. Because granted, it's like 5:30 p.m. when we're sitting having dinner by the pool, and there's no one in the pool. There's no music. There's nothing. It looks like it's deserted. So we didn't realize that people party in the pool beach all day, and then they go home around 3 or 4 to their hotel rooms and start getting dressed for dinner. So then everybody starts popping into dinner around 7, 8, and then they go to the entertainment, which usually started around 9 p.m. We didn't know all this because it's our first night there. Okay, so we walk, we get lost on the beach side. There's a shuttle that takes you over there. We're just kind of roaming the grounds, and we bump into this jazz. There's like hardly anyone sitting there at the jazz thing. And then I'm like, let's go get a dessert. Like, it's all you can eat. Like, we just literally had dinner and dessert. But I was like, let's go see what this restaurant offers and see if there's a dessert. So we order an appetizer and a dessert. And the appetizer was no bueno. I will leave the picture here. It was the stuffed ravioli, fried ravioli, but it was cold and it was not good. And then their dessert was this cream thing. I don't know. It was delicious. The dessert was good. So we're eating that and we're like, okay, let's head back. And as we're heading back, there's a music show going on now where the jazz thing was going on. So it was already towards the end, you guys. It wasn't even like, literally was towards the end. She was like, well, you want to sit down and watch it for a little bit? And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I'm very, you guys, I feel like I'm one of the easiest people to travel with, because I am very like, whatever. I don't care. I'm down for whatever, you know, like. So we sit for like 15 minutes because the show's really coming at the end. Like, we got there for the last song and then they're introducing themselves, or, you know, whatever. Like, at the end, they're giving each other's names and whatnot. They're all doing a little dance before they run off stage. So she's like, okay, you ready to go? And I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Literally, it's like 10:30 at this point, like 10:15ish p.m. on our first night there. We just got there around 5 and it's now 10, so we haven't done much, right? So we walk back to the room and we're like, tomorrow's going to be an early day anyways. I could have chose to do something else because I was good. Energy-wise, I was good, but she was tired. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You know, tomorrow's going to be a really long day. We had excursions booked all day from 7 a.m. to about 5 p.m. So we knew we were going to be really tired the next day. So I was like, yeah, I'm good. So we take baths, showers, and then we go into bed. I'm texting my husband at this point, because I don't know what it is, you guys, and I will show you that I actually texted him, and I will show you the text that I sent him. And I'm telling him that I feel sad and that I really miss them. And he's like, well, it's just because you're so far away in Jamaica. And I'm like, no, I don't know, because when I went to Cancun on my girls' trip with my cousin 2 years ago, I'm like, I didn't feel this. And he makes a joke of it, and he's like, well, you were drunk 2 hours in Cancun, so you probably didn't, like, experience the whole missing us part. And I'm like, no, but I got drunk on an accident, and it wasn't 2 hours in. I'm like, and we still, like, I just didn't feel sadness on that trip. I was like, and I feel sadness, like I don't know what it is. And I was actually crying, but the lights were out and she was already, you know, on her side of the bed. And so tears are coming down, but I'm like, I just feel sadness. I don't know what it is. And I'm like, but I'm excited about tomorrow. We have a full day tomorrow. So we called it an early night. Okay, so we wake up in the morning. And you know your girl, I get up really early because I knew we had to be ready by 7. So I literally got up at 5 in the morning because, you know, I got to have full glam because I may be taking pictures and recording for you guys. So I wanted to make sure I was full glam, okay? And I didn't care. People can judge me, whatever. I don't care. This is who I am. I always see these 80-year-old ladies, like 85-year-old ladies who are wearing hair pieces in their hair and they've got like full makeup. Their eyeliner's not even on right. Their eyebrows are all messed up because they can't even see what they're doing. But I love them because I'm like, that is going to be me. It's not going away. Like, I always feel like, am I going to wake up one day and feel like, okay, I'm ready to be like frumpy and not care about my hair and just wear whatever. But then I see these 85-year-old ladies who are still wearing their cute little red lip and their hair is all teased and hairsprayed. And I'm like, it's not going to go away. That is going to be me right there. And so, okay, on to the next part of the story. I'm giving you guys tidbits of who I am and who my personality is and why I feel like this was so out of line. So, we get ready, okay? I'm not wearing any, you guys saw what I was taking to Jamaica. You guys saw all the outfits that I took to Jamaica with the exception of like 2 or 3 dresses that I threw in like the night before, just in case, and I did end up wearing one of them. But it was actually a very conservative dress. Like, it was below the knee and it was a spaghetti strap. Didn't show very much of anything outside of my curves, but obviously almost anything I wear is going to show my curves. But anyways, you guys saw what I took to Jamaica. My husband saw what I was taking to Jamaica. He was perfectly fine with everything I was going to take. I typically wouldn't wear anything that's like going to be out of line, you know what I mean? Okay, so I'm wearing this outfit, you know, I'm wearing a triangle swimsuit, black swimsuit with the shimmery top, you know, like kind of a little bit of a cover up. And so I'm wearing my bathing suit bottom at the bottom just in case, because I don't know what we're getting into. And I'm also wearing like your typical biker shorts, which are not even booty shorts. They're just normal biker shorts, okay? So it's comfortable, and I'm wearing my black water shoes. And we leave to our excursion. And the very first excursion was horseback riding. After that, we were going to get on ATVs, and then we were going to do Dunn's River Falls, and then we were going to zip line at the end of the day. So we go to the horses, and there's all kinds of people here, right? From all over the place. And there's some really cute girls that were that we picked up on the way over, and they were in booty shorts and, you know, showing it all out. And you know, it's Jamaica. People are out there showing it out, okay? Most girls were in thong underwear. Big girls, small girls, all girls. And I love, love, love seeing confident big girls because I always feel like I wish that would have been me. Like, I wish at my highest weight, I would have still had the confidence that I have right now because I didn't. I was very ashamed of my body at that point. But when I see girls that don't care, I'm like, I wish I had that. So anyways, on our very first excursion, it was a sizable group. I think it was like 18 of us or something. And we had the horseback riding. I got told my makeup was pretty in the lobby, I think, on the way out at 7 o'clock in the morning. Girls in Jamaica are so friendly. Like, well, they were to me at least, because she was complaining they were being rude. But for the most part, most of them were pretty friendly with me. And they would all tell me how beautiful my makeup was, or how pretty my eyebrows were, or how I just looked put together. And like, I kept getting stopped every time I went into the lobby by the staff women to tell me how beautiful I was. Okay, so we're in the horseback riding, and this is the first incident that I'm like, how could you have said the things that you said about me if like clearly there were situations that I could have taken advantage if it was true, okay? So there's these really cool, cute swings. Okay, they took like 2 hours to get us going on the horseback. Like, we're just standing there doing nothing for like an hour to hour and a half. So there's these 3 swings. And I thought perfect for photo op. And I think I did post one of the pictures on my community page. the two young girls that were with us ran to the swings, and they were swinging and they were taking pictures. I even helped them take pictures, and I was like, look, just shoot a video and then you can pick your stills. You know, we did the whole little thing. There was a third swing that was next to a bunch of guys that work there, but they were like kind of just hanging out at a picnic table, which was right in front of the third swing. And so I'm like, well, I'm not going to get a picture. I'm like, because, you know, these girls aren't getting off and whatever. Like, I don't feel like telling them, can y'all get off so I can take a picture? And she suggested that I go to that third swing. And I looked over, and then I looked even further, and I'm like, yeah, no. I was like, no, it's fine. I'm like, there's a bunch of guys over there. Like, I don't want to go do a whole full-blown photo op on a swing in front of all those dudes, because I already know what's going to happen if I do that. They're all going to be gawking, and I'm going to be uncomfortable. I'm still uncomfortable recording in front of people, even though vloggers are everywhere and people know what they're doing. Like, I'm still trying to break out of that shell and feel like, I don't care, I'm vlogging for my peeps, you know. Like, I still have that in the back of my mind, like, oh my god, people are gonna be like, ugh, another girl that thinks she's an influencer, right? So I'm like, no, it's cool. Well, the girls finally get off because we're there for so long that they got off the swing. And so I told her, hey, can you take a video of me really quick so that I can get some pictures out of it, whatever. So she does. She takes the video. We do that. Okay, fast forward. We're finally on the horses. We had a few guides, I think like 5 or 6 guides. So every like 5 or 6 horses, there was a guide riding along, right, to make sure that everybody's kind of following his suit. The horses are not acting up, all that good stuff. Obviously, we all know I got some junk in the trunk, so sitting on a horse accentuates my junk in the trunk. And these guys were making comments, okay? I don't play into it. I'm not mean about it, because at the end of the day, like, obviously I know that my body attracts attention, but I'm not going to be rude about it either, okay? So they were being funny, saying things like, my horse's name was Chocolate, and so of course some of them were like, oh, Chocolate, you're so lucky today. Oh, how I wish I was Chocolate. You know, and they're like 2 or 3 horses behind, but I can hear them, and I'm like, you know, ignoring them for the most part. But then like some of them would be like, is that all you, girl? Is that all you? And I'm like, yes, it's all me. Like, and that was it. That was the extent of that. It was just like, I'm not going to sit here and be rude to the people who are giving me my tour and my experience, right? Like, I'm not going to be catching an attitude every time somebody makes a joke or says something. Like, whatever, it goes in one ear and out the other, and we keep it moving. Like, that's just how I operate, okay? I'm just not a very mean person to begin with, unless you like personally attack me or hurt me, okay? So that happened a lot, and then we went on the ATVs, and then the guy was like, hey, if you want to buy the picture package, like, let me know what's up. Like, I'll take pictures, I'll focus on you, and then you'll have all these pictures, blah, 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 blah. I agreed to the deal. He took my pictures, and so he was focusing on whoever opted for this. So it literally was just me and some other girl on the trip that was like, yeah, we'll pay the money and we'll take the pictures. So I told her, hey, the guy said that he'll take our pictures, and she was like, no, I'm not really having it. Like, I'm not interested in that. And I was like, okay, well, I'm like, he's taking them anyways because we're together, so you're going to end up in the pictures. I'll just send them to you. Okay? Didn't ask for anything. I said I would send them. So, of course, he's, like, focusing on me every time he sees me coming on the horse, on the ATV, all that good stuff. And I'm glad, because otherwise I wouldn't have had half of the pictures that I got. Like, I got some really beautiful pictures out of him taking the random pictures of me. Of course, when I got onto the ATV, and I will put those pictures here so you guys can see them. When I got on the ATV, he was like, okay, give me the peace sign. Hold the handlebars. Stand up and hold the handlebars. Put your knees on the seat and hold the handlebars. Like, he was telling me all these different poses to do, and, you know, your girl is feeling good. Like, she's finally, like, confident. Like, I'm feeling good, you know? Like, these are things that I could have never done in the past, like, ever. And so I did, you know, I complied, because I was like, oh, well, if they look like crap, I just won't post them, and they'll be deleted. Like, it's not a big deal. Okay. So then they go behind me, because she's taking her pictures with him now, and he's like, do the peace sign. Everything that he told me, except for the get on your knees part, okay? Now, she was wearing a knee brace, so I feel like that was a big part of why he probably didn't ask her to do that, because obviously he probably felt like she couldn't. That was one of the digs that she had to make, like, I didn't get asked to get on my knees, and I was just like, I don't know, like, I don't know what to say, I don't know, whatever. We kept it moving. You know, the tour guides and the ATV, they kind of made little comments under their breath, but, you know, I just, half the time I choose to, like, just pretend like I didn't hear it and keep it moving, whatever. we finally go to eat. We're starving at this point, like literally starving. They hadn't fed us. We didn't get to eat breakfast because we were rushed out of the hotel to go on our tour. I took an apple with me, thankfully, so I ate the apple on our way to the restaurant. The restaurant had jerk chicken with some undercooked rice, so the rice was really crunchy, and some fruit punch. So of course, she at this point seems like a little bit moody, and I feel like maybe she's just hungry. You know how you get when you're hungry and you're kind of like, don't bother me right now, it's hot and I'm hungry and I'm tired already, because it had already been a long morning. So we eat, and she's like, well, I gotta go to the restroom. And I was like, yeah, me too, I'll go with you. So we walk out of the restaurant, and there's like 4 or 5 young guys like literally sitting just outside of the restroom. So as soon as we walk out of the restaurant, or yeah, out of the restaurant, not restroom, restaurant. As soon as we walk out of the restaurant, the guys are like, hey, baby, hey. And then like I look over and I'm like, hey. And I wave and I just keep on walking because I'm going to the restroom, right? So I go to the restroom, whatever, we get out. And then, you know, we're kind of just lollygagging around waiting for our tour guide to be ready to take us to the zip line. So we get to Dunn's River Falls, where we're going to do the falls and the zip lining. And so she doesn't join me on the Dunn's River Falls, which was absolutely amazing. I loved it. Okay, but she didn't feel like she could physically do it because of her knee. And so I ended up doing that on my own. And again, this was another one of those experiences where I was left alone. And I felt like, okay, girl, man up. Like, you know, be friends with the people who you are doing the tour with, because you're going to be alone for the next 2 hours. And it's going to be a lonely experience if you don't just like open up, right? So on top of everything, this experience, because you're going up the rocks and the waterfall can get very like strong in some areas, they asked everyone to hold hands like side by side. So you had to form one line and everybody had to hold hands. So thankfully I got between 2 gentlemen who had their, well, one was his sister and the other one had his, I think it was girlfriend, wife, I don't know. But they were taking care of me the entire time. So I was very grateful, because it did get rough going up those rocks sometimes and you would slip. And I did end up hitting my head at one point, and it was like excruciating pain for a minute because I already had a headache. And so anyways, I get to the falls, we do that, then we go zip lining. Zip lining was super fun. She had never done it. She was so nervous, and I was like, no, let's just, I've never done it either, but like, it'll be fine, like, and then it's the whole weight situation. She's like, well, I hope, you know, the limit was X amount, and I hope I'm not like at the limit. And I'm like, girl, you're not the biggest person here. Like, there's much bigger people than you. If they're gonna do it, there's no reason why you couldn't do it. So, you know, like, I'm consistently on this trip like, oh, those shorts are so cute. I gave her a bathing suit, and I'm like, oh, the bathing suit looks so good on you. And so anyways, we do the zip lining, and then the day is finally over. It was a really long day, and I'm still starving, you guys. Like, that little meal that I ate, I couldn't even finish the rice because the rice was not good. So at this point, like, I burned my meal going up this waterfall rock, and I'm starving. And so I'm like, oh girl, like, I cannot wait till we get back to the hotel so we can go eat something. So we get back to the hotel finally. It's probably almost 6 at this point, and the way I leave is the way I come back. Like, I even recorded a short video of me like, you guys, I literally did this makeup on at 5 o'clock in the morning, did the waterfall, did zip lining, did horseback riding, and it still looked flawless. I really don't sweat much, you guys. So like, my makeup, the way I leave is the way I come back. What did we do today? We went horseback riding, and then ATV, and then we climbed Dunn's River, went zip lining. It's hot and humid. Look at this makeup. You guys. And look at it. So I literally showered from the neck down, like washed up really well, spruced up my hair a little bit, and put on a dress, and I was like, I'm ready for dinner. So we go downstairs to have dinner, and it was a nice dinner. I felt like had good conversation. We had a couple of drinks. Never did I even catch a buzz while I was in Jamaica, you guys. We had our drinks. We went, we finished eating, and she's like, I'm really tired. And at this point, it's like almost like 7:45-ish. And she's like, I'm really tired. You know, I really want to do the beach tomorrow. So I feel like, you know, I need to get some rest. And I was like, okay, well, I'm probably gonna like go see what's up at the bar and the speakeasy. Like, I really want to go to the speakeasy. Like, we're on very short amount of time already as it is. It was like Friday night, no, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday. It was supposed to be 5 nights because we were supposed to fly out Tuesday, back home Tuesday. So yeah, but we had already wasted 1 night, right? Now we're on our 2nd night. I already knew the night before the flight we weren't going to be able to go out because it's the night before the flight. So anyways, I'm like, I really want to go do the speakeasy. What if we don't get to do it? I'm like, so I'm like texting my husband. She's ready to go to bed or whatever. I was like, but I'm not. Like, I really want to go downstairs and like go see the bar, go to the speakeasy they keep talking about. So of course he's like, go have fun. If she's ready to go to bed and you want to go do stuff, then you go do stuff. Just be very careful and don't go anywhere by yourself. I'm like, I know. First thing I do is go down to the bar. Not to the bar. I went to go see the entertainment board because they have like a huge TV that's like constantly rotating everything that there is to do for that day and the timestamps or whatever. So I'm like literally like I caught it at the beginning of the week, which is Sunday. And so every slide takes like, I don't know, probably a minute, but it feels like forever when you're just there waiting by yourself for it to change. And so I'm literally like, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I finally get to Thursday and this guy approaches me. Mind you that the bar is literally like right there and I'm at this board lit 5 feet away. And this guy walks up to me wearing a white button-up shirt with black slacks. And I'm thinking it's a hotel person, right? And so he's like, are you lost or something? And I said, no, I'm actually looking for Saturday. And he's like, well, it's your lucky night because I'm Saturday. And I look at him and I'm just like, okay. I'm like, okay, that was funny, whatever. I'm just waiting for like Saturday to hit the board so I could take a picture. Like, I literally had my camera out ready so I can snap the picture so I could go sit at the bar and like look to see what there was to do, right? So then he's like, no, you know, what are you doing tonight? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know yet. That's what I'm trying to do. And so I'm like snapping the picture and I'm like, okay, I got the picture. And then he's like, well, you want to have a drink? And I was like, actually, I was going to have a drink. And literally, like I said, the bar was right there. And I was like, so yes, I am. So then of course he like goes to the bar and he's like, I'll have a tequila on the rocks. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, something fruity with tequila. I don't know, make me something fruity with tequila. And he's like, yeah, get the lady what she wants. And I'm like, it is a all-inclusive. You are not doing me a favor. You are over here acting like you buying me a drink or something. So anyways, you guys, I give my drink and we stand right there off to the side where the bar's at, like next to the bar, right? And so, because I'm kind of like, okay, can you like walk away? I'm trying to get to the speakeasy. Can I please just get to the speakeasy? And obviously I didn't want to have him tag along with me. I didn't want to go off on my own with him anywhere. And so I stayed there at the bar and I see that he's not leaving me alone. And he is feeding me the biggest bull stories, you guys. Like, legit was telling me he was some kind of diplomat. And if anybody needed to come frisk me, it's because they see me talking to him. And I don't think there's going to be a need to frisk me. No. And I'm entertaining, like, letting him talk in a sense. Like, I'm not really engaging in a lot of conversation. I'm just letting him tell me his bullshit story, right? And so at this point, I am sitting at the bar and I'm literally looking at the bartender like, you hear and see what's going on? And the guy's just like nonstop. And this other couple gets there and it's like an older lady and I'm like, I don't even know what I asked her because she was asking for a drink. And I was like, oh, did you guys, I don't know what was going on. And I'm like, did you guys go to the piano bar? And she was just like, you know, just like small talk because I'm trying to deflect this that's going on over here because I'm trying to get to the speakeasy. So he keeps talking and I'm just like, oh, okay. And then he's like, do you have any kids? Yes, I do. And he's like, yeah, he told me how many kids he had, whatever. And I'm like literally looking at the bartender seriously right now. Like, are you kidding me? And then the bartender's like, you want another drink? And I'm like, no, but I'll take some ice. So he adds ice to my already one drink because obviously, you know, I'm not trying to get drunk here. So I'm just like babysitting my drink. And he's like, oh, can I get a pineapple juice? Just a pineapple juice and another tequila. And then all of a sudden, like literally this guy comes and like stands a few feet from me and is looking at the bar, but like says something in a different language. And then all of a sudden this guy's like, well, it was really nice meeting you. Something came up, there's an emergency and I've got to go. And I was like, oh, okay, well, nice meeting you too. And I'm in the inside, you guys, I'm like, yes, Like, finally, like, I get to walk away. At this point, he was already like, what are you doing tonight? You want to, like, go have a fun night? Like, you want to get away and go do something? And I'm like, yeah, no, we're not going nowhere. Like, I'm not going anywhere. That was the vibe, right? So I get excited that he's leaving. Well, he doesn't even get to make it to the end of the bar when I see two women roll up next to him. And the bartender starts cracking up. And I look over and I'm like, oh, I see what's going on here. Bro code. Bro came and said something in his language to tell him, like, get your butt off this bar because your wife is coming, kind of thing, right? And so I look at the bartender and I was like, I knew it. I knew something was going on. Something was just not vibing right. And they're like laughing, like literally the lady bartender and the guy bartender were laughing. They're like, and then so he like goes away, right? And so he starts to order a drink, and you know, me being the goofball that I am, I'm like, make sure he gets a pineapple drink because I think he likes pineapple. And the bartenders are like floor just laughing at me. And so all of a sudden, like, the wife like turns around and takes off, and he goes behind her and whatever, and we're like laughing, and the bartender's like, come here, come here, come here. And they're like, oh my god, like, did you see that? Like, his wife came down and he like got up. And I was like, yes, I saw that. Oh my god, like, why would you be talking to me at all if you know your wife is in the building? Like, who does that? I thought it was hilarious. Like, I wasn't doing anything wrong. And this is the things that I was excited to come back and tell my husband and to tell my friends at work and to tell you guys, because I thought it was hilarious. And the bartenders were like, no, 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 we saw the whole thing. Like, we saw when he like approached you and you were like not having it, and then he like followed you into the bar, and like they're like, we saw the whole thing. And I was like, good, I'm glad you guys did, because I kept like trying to make that eye contact with you guys, like, don't leave me, like, this guy's full of it, kind of thing. And so they were just cracking up, and the lady bartender and the guy bartender would later on, like, you know, you get to know the bartenders around the hotel, right? And he was hilarious. I had finished off my drink, and I was like, it was so good meeting you guys. Thank y'all. This was fun, but I'm going to the speakeasy. And they told me where it was, and it was literally not even a 2-minute walk. Like, I could see the door from the bar that I was sitting at downstairs. So he's like, just go down that little path and you'll get to the speakeasy. Tell him the secret code word and you'll get in. Cool. So I go down there. I'm like, finally I get to go see what this little bar is about, whatever. So I walk in, and I'm awkwardly standing there like, where do I go sit? Where do I go sit? Like, where is it going to be the less obvious spot to go sit at? And all of a sudden, this crazy girl approaches me and like grabs me, and you could tell she's like off her ass drunk, okay? And she's like, oh my god, you're like so gorgeous. You're so beautiful. It's, you're so pretty. It's obnoxious. Like, those were literally her words. And I'm like, thank you. And she's like, look at you, like, look at your body. And she's like, you know, like, looks like she's about to cry. She's so drunk that I don't know what's going on. And I'm starting to feel like, are you lesbian? Like, what's going on here? And then, but I could immediately like loved her vibe. Like, I could tell that she was genuinely like enjoying herself and having a good time. And the fact that she like spotted me like a sad puppy sitting there not knowing what to do, and like took me in as if I were her best friend, was like the best feeling ever. So she's like, who are you here with? I'm here with my friend, but she was tired. It's literally, you guys, like 9 o'clock at this point. It's still early. I was like, she was tired, so she wanted to go to sleep, whatever. And she's like, I'm here with my husband. You see that girl over there? That's my husband. And like, she goes on to like flick him off from where we're standing at the bar. And she's like, and I'm like, oh my god. And so she's like, come here so I can meet you. And now all of a sudden I'm getting like this third wheel vibe. Like, okay, what's going on? Hold on, because I don't swing that way. No pun intended. I was like, okay. So I let her drag me over there. And she's like, look at this girl. She's like beautiful. And oh my god, I was like, I don't know what to do at this point. I'm just like, hi, nice to meet you. And I was like, oh my god. And she's like, come on, let's go dance. So she takes me off to go dance with her, and I go to the bar quickly, and I'm like, can I get a drink? And she takes me again. And so I'm like loving it, because she literally took me as if I was her best friend of years and was dancing with me and whatnot. So then she's like, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette. Come with me. And I was like, okay. And literally like 15 minutes had passed by barely at this point. So we go outside. There's a wedding going on, like literally right outside of the speakeasy. and they're jamming. They've got like Bruno Mars and like, you know, booty popping music. And I'm like, dang, the music is so much better out here. You know, we're vibing, and she's like, maybe we can like sneak into the wedding party back here. And I'm like, girl, I am in a hot green neon dress. There is no sneaking me into anywhere right now. And so she's like laughing, and we're like dancing literally 15 feet away from the wedding. Like, we're stealing the DJ music, and yes, we're doing this right now. So we're like dancing outside. I'm not even buzzed or drunk, or I had literally had one drink at the bar, and I'm like, don't care. Like, I'm in Jamaica. This was the whole point of my trip, was to have fun. And so, like, this is another story developing, because I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be so fun to go back home and talk about this. So as we're like dancing a song and a half in, 2 songs, there's a guy that comes up, and he's like, hey, and we're like, oh, yeah, we're just, you know, out here. She's smoking a cigarette. And he was like, why aren't y'all inside the speakeasy? And I'm like, well, honestly, because the music's better out here. And he's like, oh, and he's like, I'm the DJ in there. He's like, that's messed up. He's like, what do you want to listen to? I'll change up the vibe. And I was like, you know, this kind of stuff, like, you know, Bruno Mars, pop, hip hop, I don't know, cool stuff. And so he's like, I'll play it in there if you guys come back. And he's like, I think I saw you yesterday. He's like, weren't you here with another girl? And I was like, oh yeah, that's my friend. And he's like, yeah, I saw you guys at the jazz thing. You know how we showed up at the end of the dance party the first night we were there? He like recognized me from that night or whatever, which was the night before. And I was like, yeah, that was us. We sat at the very back. He's like, I was sitting at the DJ booth there, because we sat like literally behind the DJ booth. Of course, I didn't notice because I'm not paying attention. I was looking at the dancers, and he's like, yeah, I noticed you guys sat back there and you all left really quickly, and I didn't get to introduce myself at that time. And I was like, oh yeah, we weren't there very long. And he was like, okay, cool. He's like, well, if you come back in here, I'll change the music up for you. And I was like, all right, cool. So sure enough, she finished smoking her cigarette. She was dancing with one of the hotel workers. She started dancing with him, and he's like, no, like, I can't, like, we can't do this. And I was like, really? You guys get in trouble for like giving the guests a good time? And he's like, yeah, we're not supposed to be like dancing with them or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. She doesn't care. So we walk in, and like literally, like at this point, her husband's sitting at the bar right when we walk in. So I sat next to him, and she's like still dancing, and like she would literally go grab all the guys that were coming in. She didn't care who they were with or anything. She would grab them and like twirl herself around. Hey, and I'm like looking at her husband. I'm like, that is really cool that you let her be herself, and like you're just sitting here watching her. And he's like, yeah, she's a free spirit. That's who she is. I'm not gonna fight it. Like, and I'm like, that is really cool of you guys. And so then she's so drunk, she spilled a drink, she slipped and busted her ass on the floor, and her husband's like, you're gonna get up? And he's like, do you need help? And like we all like go to help her, and everybody's just kind of like, what is going on? Her husband, so she goes back outside, and I barely got my drink at the bar. And so her husband's like, yeah, you know, who are you with? And I was like, oh, I'm with my friend, but she's tired, so she went to bed. I wanted to see what this was about, so I came out. And he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, what about you guys? Where are y'all from? And he's like, oh, we're from Florida. And I'm like, oh, cool. We have like one of our sites is in Florida and whatnot. And then he like starts showing me pictures of his 2-year-old son. He's a little redhead, and he's such a cutie. And he's like, yeah, my brother took him to Florida, to Disneyland. And, you know, they're so happy because they always wanted a son, but all they have is girls. And give me the whole spiel. And like by the time his wife finally comes back, and then I'm like, oh, what are you guys going to do tomorrow? And they're like, oh, we're going to go to ATV. And I was like, oh, we did that today. And I was like, it's so much fun and so pretty, whatever. Small talk, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of liking this. Like, I think I could do it. Like, this has been, it was good. Like, I had a good experience. And the DJ comes down, and he was like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, this place is about to shut down in about an hour. He's like, but there's an after party on the beach side. And he's like, we could just take the shuttle over there. And I was like, okay, I'll see what's up. And so I tell the couple, and I'm like, are you guys gonna go, or y'all staying here? And they're like, oh, it doesn't matter, we could go over there. And I was like, okay, because if you guys go, I'll join you guys. I feel safer because there's a girl with, you know, his wife or whatever. I'm like, but if y'all don't go, then I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna stay here because my side of the bed, or our room, is on this side of the hotel. And so he's like, okay, that's fine. And so they start shutting down, the lights turn on. At this point, it's now like 12 o'clock, because we're like, I thought this place was open till 2. And they're like, yeah, he's like, but we're going to shut it down at 1 o'clock today. He's like, so we just start turning on the lights and whatever, but you guys can stay here till 1. It's 12 o'clock at this point. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we go outside. Like, everyone starts to trickle on outside. There's like swings out there. There's like gazebos. There's like all kinds of stuff out there. And so we all walk out, and the DJ comes out, and he's like, so what's up? Are you guys going to go over to the beach side, whatever? And at this point, I'm like, I don't know yet. We're kind of trying to figure out where we're going to go. And he was like, we could go over there. He's like, we can jump on the shuttle. He's like, I'll bring you back. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't feel safe going by myself. I'm sorry. And he was like, you're going with me. Like, I work here. Like, it's cool. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And so we're kind of just standing around outside and trying to figure things out. And so I go sit down. We go sit down on the, like, bench style swings that are right there. And having small talk with him, and he was just like, oh, so what are you guys gonna do? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, tomorrow we're gonna have a beach day. And he was like, oh, that's really cool. He's like, y'all should check this out, y'all should check that out, like whatever, like small talk. And then he's like, are you sure you don't want to go over to the other side? It's gonna be we're doing a party over there till 2 o'clock in the morning, because at this point it's like 12:15 or something. And I'm like, and then I look over to the crowd, and they're kind of all dwindling away, and I was like, yeah, no, I think I'm gonna just head back to the room. And he's like, all right, cool, I'll walk you. And I thought, okay, that's cool. Like, literally the stairway to the main lobby was not far from where everybody was at. There was still people in the main lobby at the piano bar and stuff like that. So I didn't think anything of it. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I mean, he knows I'm by myself, and he had small talk with me. He works there. I didn't like see any foreseen danger. So literally we get to where my lobby is at, and he's like, all right, you sure you don't want to go? And I was like, nope, I'm good, thank you though. And he's like, all right, cool, whatever. So I go up to the room, and I'm texting my husband like, okay, I'm gonna call it a night. Like, it was so much fun. I did this, I did that. I met this crazy girl. I met this crazy guy, like, that his wife almost walked in. And like, I'm telling him everything that's going on, because I've kind of been alone for a good portion of the trip by now. And I've literally been here a day and a half. And like, you know, I did the duns of everything by myself. And then, then now, you know, she called it a night at 8 o'clock. So now I'm by myself again. And I felt like I paid, it was like $1,700-$1,800 for this trip. Like, I want to have fun. Like, this is what I came to Jamaica for. Like, I did not come to like go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night. So, okay. So I get to the room, and I'm texting my husband like, okay, I made it safe to the room. I love you. Good night, whatever. I'm up early in the morning because I know that she wanted to go to the beach as well as I did. And I'm excited because I'm going to go. I have a company that sponsors swimsuits for me, and all I have to do is take pictures, and they send me all these swimsuits. And so I was like, okay, I need to get that done. Like, I need to do that on the beach. And, you know, so I get up early. I take a shower. I do my makeup. She's kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to go downstairs already. And she's like, did you have fun last night? And I'm like, yeah, actually, I did. I had a blast. And then she's like, okay, well, I'm going to go downstairs and have breakfast. She's like, I'll go get a table for us while you're getting ready. And I was like, well, I only have like 10-15 minutes, but yeah, okay, that's cool. So she goes downstairs, and then she texts me like 5 minutes later, and was like, it's getting pretty, it's not open yet. So as soon as it opens, I'll go. And I was like, okay, because it's so early. It's like 7 at this point, maybe 6:50-ish. Something like that, which I don't even eat that early, but I knew we were going to be on the beach all day, so I figured I would have breakfast. So I call my husband while I'm finishing up, and I'm like, yeah, she already went downstairs. Like, she said she's going to have breakfast. It's different for me because when I did my all-girls trip with my cousin and one of our best friends, we were together all the time. Like, we did not leave each other alone. We all got ready and waited till all of us were done getting ready, and then we all walked together to have breakfast. We all walked together to go to the restroom. We all walked together to go to the pool. We all walked together to go to the beach. We all walked together to go everywhere. Like, we were always together. We were never sitting there alone, okay? So this was just different to me, but I'm like, okay, get comfortable with yourself. Get comfortable with being by yourself. You know, I'm considering taking, like, a vacation on my own to, like, you know, self-reflect and all that good stuff. So I was like, get used to what it feels like to be alone, because I'm always with someone, right? I have a hard time being alone. Okay, so I go downstairs, and I don't know, but for me, like, as a friend, I feel like I would have at least just sat there and had a cup of coffee waiting for you to get there. Like, that's the common courtesy I would do as a friend, right? Like, I would be like, oh, I'm just grabbed a cup of coffee while I waited for you. No, she was already eating breakfast when I got down there. And she was like, it's buffet, so you can just go grab what you want. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go grab something. And I don't know, I felt some type of way about that, but I was like, okay, just whatever, let it go. So I get back to the table and she's like, so how did it go last night? I'm like, oh my God, again, me naively thinking nothing wrong about what I did the night before. I was like, oh my God. And so I start telling her the story, kind of semi. I'm not giving her all the details because I could tell she's not really that interested in hearing about it. I proceed to tell her like some of the highlights, like, you know, this guy wouldn't leave me alone at the bar, and then his wife showed up and she's like, well, why are you talking to a married man, kind of thing? And I'm just like, well, I didn't know he was married, and it's his fault for talking to me. Like, he should have never approached me to begin with. Like, I didn't seek conversation. Like, I didn't engage in it. And it was just kind of like, I got that vibe. Like, I was just like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, Jesse, I had already told Jesse about everything, but I was like, okay, whatever. And then I told her about the drunk girl, you know, and here I was like, oh my God, you're so gorgeous, you're so obnoxious, and telling her that whole story. It was just, I could tell that she was turned off about it, so it was just like, I didn't kind of continue talking about it, and then we just kind of changed the subject, whatever. So then it's like, okay, well, you ready to go to the beach? And I was like, yeah, we're ready. I'm gonna go upstairs and change or whatever and grab all our stuff. So we go upstairs. I take off because at this point I'm wearing my swimsuit underneath, but I'm also wearing a big cover up. I take off the big cover up that I wore to breakfast so that I'm not like half naked eating breakfast, and then just proceeded to put on the little skirt with the like fishnet looking skirt that you wear on the beach or whatever. And now it's time for beach day. So I am going to go ahead and cut it off here, you guys. I will add the part 2 because we are an hour in and we still have the best part to come. And so I will add my part 2. We will cut it off here, but up next is where the drama begins. Okay, this is the day that I wish never happened. So yeah, you guys, join me for part 2.